What can you tell us? I mean, this is just the U.S. entity that we're talking about. Is that right?
That's right. It would be a sort of, right now what we know is that, TikTok has obviously been under intense scrutiny from U.S. regulators, the sort of Chinese ties, because it's owned by ByteDance, the Chinese media and technology conglomerate. And so, the company, as well as American institutions, have been trying to figure out different ways to essentially alleviate this sort of scrutiny. And one of those ways is a number of different big companies, including Microsoft, are looking at an acquisition outright. And so we're still looking into how far those talks are along, but it's pretty clear that TikTok is trying to alleviate this concern and is in play right now.
Is there any indication, Mike, that would work, that this would be a way to appease the Trump administration?
I think the big issue for the White House is just, the ties back to ByteDance and China. They would have to give some serious sort of, look, there's many employees in Beijing who work on TikTok as well, beyond the New York and LA offices that have U.S. employees. And I think they would have to, for any deal to really work, they would have to make assurances saying, we have firewalled U.S. user data. There's no sort of direct ties to this company anymore. And I don't know. I don't know if they've hammered those details out quite yet, or if it's gotten to the point where they're really serious on it. But I think everyone sort of spots opportunity right now, especially for a social network that even Facebook is very worried about in terms of how fast it's growing and how powerful it's become.
Mike, fascinating that this story breaking on the week of those big tech hearings, which of course was centered around the topic of antitrust. Microsoft wasn't present at them, of course, and it doesn't really have a significant social media presence as things stand. But it's not going to be welcomed by antitrust lawmakers and regulators.
Yeah, it is funny timing coming directly after the folks in Congress. I do think I guess the one thing that Microsoft has going for it here is that it essentially has zero social media presence, right? It missed out on Facebook years ago. It doesn't own Twitter. It doesn't have, Pinterest is its own thing. And you could argue that Microsoft buying TikTok would actually open up competition even better in the U.S. As another U.S.-owned company or another U.S.-backed presence to challenge the dominance of a Facebook in the United States. So maybe they have that argument going for them.
Any idea, Mike, what it would be worth? And also any idea who the other, I know you're not reporting any other companies, American companies in the mix, but anyone you can think of that might be under consideration here?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, so I'm after I get off the phone with you guys, I'm going to start dialing for dollars. But I think I think the folks I'm thinking of are what companies don't have as much of I don't think a Facebook would make sense just because they know they're too hot to even touch any sort of social media acquisition. But what companies want to be in that space, in the ad space as well as the social space that have a better chance of something like that going through when it comes to getting regulatory approval. So I don't want to name anyone now just because I don't want to speculate, but those are the types of folks that I would think of.
Mike, just want to round off in terms of the geographic split. This is being seen as U.S. versus rest of the world for TikTok, as opposed to China versus rest of the world, because clearly the U.S. authorities are the ones and lawmakers that have their bit between the teeth in terms of worrying about possible intrusion from Chinese tech companies. But that is a theme that is certainly developing and picking up steam more meaningfully in other places like Europe. But this is not going to include the Europe entity and all sorts of other non-Chinese parts of this company.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I think the thing that made it clearest this week was really, it was Facebook's defense in front of Congress this week. And essentially, Facebook has been, the thing that I've been watching lately is seeing Facebook really single out TikTok as this, un-American success story, while Facebook, Zuckerberg said on his earnings call yesterday that Facebook is an American success story. And that has really, I believe, ratcheted up pressure on TikTok to make some sort of decision or choice or figure out how it was going to alleviate pressure sometime soon. And so, as that sort of continues, as Facebook successfully defends itself by pointing towards others, I think we're going to get closer to some sort of resolution. I'm not sure what that is yet because, as has been reported, there is talk of investors buying a majority stake in TikTok instead of just a full acquisition. So it's very much in play right now.